This something turned out to be a grasshopper. Okay, I get the kind of girl she is. I'm not attempting that! My voice is not that high! So, no. Just pretend that I did that, because I'm not gonna wreck my voice for this. Hello everyone, I'm Keenan47, aka Wolfkeen, and welcome to a one-off Let's Play of a game called Everlasting Summer. That person is going way too fucking hard on the guitar for something like this. But, yeah, we're here with a one-off Let's Play of Everlasting Summer. This was a Patreon request by one of my patrons, Zachary Taylor. So, let's not wait, because he's been wanting me to do this forever. Let's go ahead and check out Everlasting Summer. So, new game. I was having a dream once again. Yeah, it's a visual novel, by the way, guys, so just so y'all know. That dream, same thing every night. But it's all forgotten in the morning, as usual. Maybe it's for the best. Only a glimpse of memory will remain of gates, half opened, as if inviting me somewhere, with two frozen stone pioneers standing close by. And also that strange girl, who keeps asking me. I'll at least give the music this. I like it so far. Will you come with me? Come? But where? And why? And where am I anyway? Of course, if it all happened in real life, I would certainly have been scared. Well, what else would one expect to feel? But this is just a dream. The same one I see every night. There must be a reason. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. Something desperately seeking my attention. Since everything that surrounds me here is real. As real as things in my own flat. I could open the gates, hear the hinges creak, brush the crumbling rust away from my hand, inhale the fresh air and shiver from the cold. I could, but to do that I would need to pick myself up, take a step, and move my hand. But this is a dream. I understand it, but what of it? What does my understanding change? Because here it's just like on the other side of the cracked screen of an old TV, which struggles to fight against static noise and strives to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? About the stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I'd rather ask about the gates. Yes, the gates. She would be so surprised. Or better, why the dot over an I was called a... Oh. But the dot over a J was called a superscript dot? Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore. Still, what do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? Because even if I'm having this dream every night, which will be forgotten soon anyway, I've got to look for answers here and now. And there, if you look carefully, you could see the Magellanic clouds. If I'm pronouncing that word incorrectly, don't be afraid to say it. There are some words I fumble with. As if I'd end up in the southern hemisphere. In a dream, there are small things that catches your attention. An unnatural color of grass, impossible curves of straight lines, or your own distorted reflection, while the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seems trivial. It's natural, since here you cannot die. I know it for sure, I've done it hundreds of times, but if you cannot die, is there a point in living? I should ask a girl. She's a local, she should know. Yes, exactly. I should ask her about the owl, for example. One strange bird it is, though it doesn't matter. Will you come with me? And every time I have to answer, it's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end, and I will never wake up. I love how you can say, yes, I'll come with you, no, I'll stay here. It's like, he just said he wouldn't go in because, fuck it. Every time it's so hard to decide on the answer. You just said that it was kind of easy to think about in a realistic sense. Where am I? What am I doing here? Who is she? And why does so much in my life depend on this answer? Or maybe it doesn't? It's just a dream after all. Just a dream. Oh, this is realistic. Seems to be lagging a bit on my end. Hopefully that doesn't appear too badly for ya. What the fuck am I looking at on that screen? Yeah, and by the by, guys, this is blind. I don't know anything about this game. The computer screen stared at me as if it was alive. Again, very realistic life. Sometimes it really did seem to me that it was conscious of itself, had its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. As if in our relationship, the screen wasn't an instrument. It was me who was a lifeless piece of plastic and textile. Textilite. There is some truth in that, probably because the computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time, rarely ECQ or Jabber, and forums even more rarely. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. All of them are simply creations of its sick imagination, an error in the source code or kernel bug which started living a life of its own. What? Oh, that's a nice light. I would love something like that in my room. If one looked at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophisticated diagnoses and maybe write me a doctor's referral to the loony bin. I know that feeling. A small apartment with no signs of repair or any semblance of order in it, and always the same view out the window on the gray megalopolis running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. That sounds like me, honestly, being stuck in New York and such. Well, of course, it didn't all start like this. I was born, went to school, finished it, like all the others. I was accepted at a university where I spent a year and a half trailing behind and struggling. I drifted through several jobs. Sometimes it was working out quite well, sometimes I was even getting decent money for it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if taken from another man's biography. Boy, do I know that pain all too well, because I went to college as well for about a year and a half. I struggled, and I eventually had to back out. I never had a chance to find work, primarily because at the time the job market in New York was completely and it still kind of is when you think about it. So I don't know this, but I can understand the sentiment behind that statement. I wasn't living life to its fullest. It was looping over and over in a monotonous circles. Again, I can understand that one. Like in the movie Groundhog Day. I can't believe they referenced Groundhog Day, but I can actually agree with that. It's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day, and every day repeated itself, the same vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. Ooh, yeah, that's real to life. For the last few years, I just sat in front of the screen all day. Sometimes there were menial jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder, really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly ever leave my home, and my communication with other people almost exclusively consists of online correspondence with the anonymous, who have no real name, no gender, no age. Yeah, this is very realistic to some of the stuff that I go through. I know if I'm saying that too much, I'm sorry, but I just can't help but be like, yeah, I can understand that as well. As a person who really, all he really does when you think about it is just edit videos, stare in front of a computer monitor almost every day, and don't really do much with himself. Well, except for the fact that the people that I talk to online, I at least know their faces and I've met them, so that's a different thing altogether. But anyways, continuing with this. So in brief, a quite typical life of a quite typical antisocial person of his time. Yup. Kind of Donnie Darko on a minor scale, without doomsday-related visions. Maybe some high-respecting author will write a novel about me, and it will become a contemporary classic of modern literature. Or I will write one myself. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I tried many times but couldn't even come up with a simple short story. I tried to learn many other things as well. Not gifted enough to draw. Programming got boring. I know that feeling. Foreign languages takes too much time. Yes, but it's useful. The only thing I loved doing was reading, but still, I never would have called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and a grandmaster of lame internet jokes. If I were to get paid for it, I would probably be a happier person, and a richer person too, but I doubt it would fill the hole inside of me. Dude, just start doing YouTube videos. Okay, let me not go that far. Let me stop with the jokes and let me just take this seriously. Today was another typical day of a typical failure's typical life. Oh, whoops. I didn't know you could do that with the mouse wheel. Okay, sorry about that. And today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really don't want to. What is the point? The time I spent with them was so short. However, I was persuaded by a friend, my former university mate, and one of the few with whom I kept in touch other than through the internet. I gotta admit though, some of the art is kind of cool, and I do like the music. I may have to look up this game's OST later. Man, this feels very much like a city that I've lived in, and that I've lived in. Again, I'm from New York, so. My God, he even dresses like me. Dude, I almost have that same hair and beard. Like, quite literally, I almost have that same hair and beard. That's pretty weird. A frosty evening. Bus stop. Waiting. I never liked winter. Okay, now me and you are gonna have problems. Though hot summer is not my season either. Okay, never mind. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of year. It doesn't matter much with what the weather is outside when you stay at home 24/7. The bus day was running so late that I was about to curse it all and spend my last few hundred rubles for a taxi. The idea of just returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, millions of thoughts flew through my mind, but there was not a single useful one to seize on. Such a thought that you could bring into existence, give a shape, turn into an idea, and put it into practice. Maybe I could start my own business. But where would I get the money for that? Or maybe I could go back to working in an office. No way. Maybe I should try freelancing? But what skills do I have, and who would want me after all? I know that pain, being a freelance editor myself. It takes time to really develop like a clientele and even develop your skills, so. I suddenly remembered my childhood. Or rather my teen years, the time when I was 15, 17. Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's because back then everything was much more simple. It was easier to make decisions. So complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my day was going to pass, and I always eagerly looked forward to the weekend. Then I could get some rest and have time for the things I liked. Computer, football, going out with friends. And then at the beginning of next week, I'd take up my studies again. Yeah, that was school in a nutshell. Back then, there were no such worrying questions like why, who needs it, and what will change if I do it, or what will not change. A simple lifestyle, so casual for any normal person, so odd to myself today. That careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Her appearance and personality have vanished from my memory. Only her name remains like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her. Affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her and to protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today, I can hardly imagine something like that happening. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation. What on earth to discuss and how to attract her? God, do I know that feeling! Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time, but where could I meet one anyway? Again, I know that feeling. Sorry, I know. Annoying. I'll stop. The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. A bus pulled over. There was something abnormal about it, I thought. Then again, it doesn't matter. Only the 410 runs this route. What the hell? What? Streetlights pass by me. It's as if their cold light sparks inside of me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Or maybe not ignite, just awaken them. Because those feelings, they have been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio was playing some very familiar tune, but I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars pass by through the fogged-up window. Because people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems, or maybe they have much easier lives. We can't know for sure, since all people are different. Or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can be easily predicted, but if you try to look inside his soul, you will only see impenetrable darkness. The bus was approaching downtown, and my thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show and somehow I got terribly sleepy. My ears closed just for a moment and then... Well then, we got an intro. So what I'm getting from at least the character that we're playing as, he's someone who has kind of lost all emotion, like almost lost all desire and emotion in himself. Sort of like just living life because and not really having a reason to live his life in a way. I can't read this. Again, I'll say this, the art style is really nice. What? Zachary, what did you sign me up for? I mean, yeah, you signed me up for a visual novel, but still. What the hell did you just sign me up for? Well, it looks like the intro is not in English, so I still have no idea who these characters are called. Well then, whatever. Day 1. Okay. But yeah, like I said, it definitely feels like we're playing as that type of a character. What? Bright daylight struck my eyes. At first, I didn't pay attention as I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Semyon? Damn, looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop. But there was no door. I looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't a good worn-out Liaz. Instead, the bus was actually an Icarus model, a new one. I froze in shock. How? What? Am I dead? Have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painful in the face a few times, banged my forehead on the back of one of the bus seats. Ow! It's clear, either I'm still alive or you can still feel pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept for too long and ended up at the bus depot. And then, what? Did they put me on another bus? I rushed out and took a look around. greenery. Wherever I looked, tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer! But how? It was winter just a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably. Yeah, because you hit it off the fucking seat! As if I was going to explode. Slowly I began to remember. What the fuck? A long road running off into the distance. Forest, plains, fields, lakes, and forest again. I think I was sleeping. But then, how can I remember all of it? And then, a gap. Some girl leaning over me. She softly whispered something in my ear. Then a gap again. And then I woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Or was she just a dream? For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calm me down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her. And the best place to look for her is away from here. I rushed to the left, then to the right, then stopped, hesitating over where to go. Finally, I ran in the direction from which the bus had probably came. Whoa. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind. Thoughts became clearer, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing and trying to ease my sore throat by gulping breaths of hot air. In any case, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming. Though recalling my self-harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. A narrow road ran through the field and far into the distance. That exact same road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. And it's not just that. It was winter yesterday and now it's summer now. And it's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this, green and hot, but everything here is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from the paintings of Russian landscape artists of the 19th century. The grass is just too lush. The bushes are not like what bushes should be. They are so thick that you can't see anything through them, like treetops, honestly. And the trees themselves? The forest was quite far away, but the trees looked as if they had closed their ranks and were now just waiting for the order to advance onto the fields and plains. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. That was a good run. Fear overtaking me once again. Those power lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, that means nothing at all. Couldn't they have power lines even in hell? Is he still going along with that? Roasting sinners over hot coils? That's so last century. I must be reaching the point of no return, after which you should either lose your mind completely or finally try to understand what is going on. And while I still have a choice, I should pick the second option. I slowly head back to the bus. Of course it was scary. But I'm not likely to find an answer in the fields or the woods, and this wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of link that I have with the real world. Oh! I should carefully scout the area. Wait. Soviet meets outlet? I don't even know how to pronounce that. Suvionok meets... I don't... Like, someone can help me with that. A brick wall and its gates crowned with a Suvionok sign. I don't know how Russian language is pronounced or otherwise. I know a little bit of how certain letters in German are pronounced, but not Russian. So, I know I'm going to be mispronouncing all of these words. So please bear with me. Statues of pioneers standing on either side, and a road sign nearby showing the bus route 410. Trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start acting improper and inappropriately in extreme situations. Something like that is probably happening to me now. This place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage to the walls. Suvionok. What could have a name like that? Judging by the pioneer statues, it could be a kid's summer camp. Moreover, it appears to be open. Of course, the simplest explanation, logically speaking, explains nothing at all. This strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of fears went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from a hallucination to a time and space shift. None was worse than any other, but there was really no way to pick a single one. Then it occurred to me, I could try to make a phone call. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contact list. But instead of single strength bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright, there may be no signal in such a remote place. Though I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure that it wasn't a hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, some rust here and there, sorry about that, I hit my table. Faded paint and worn out tires. No, this is definitely a very ordinary Icarus. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus which takes you to places beyond your understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came out by itself, sporadically, because this wasn't the right place or time to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curb beside the bus and started to wait. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to go slightly mad. In such a situation, anyone would have probably felt something similar. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? How my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things that I had no time for yet. I was overwhelmed by the idea this was definitely the end. But why? It's not fair. Surely I'm no worse than anyone else. God, why? Tears were burning down my eyes unbearably. I curled up and started to roll in the grass. Why? What did I do? Why me? But my cries were only heard by the speechless statues of pioneers and a bird on a tree, which immediately flapped its wings and took off, crying out something in its own bird language, as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its after-dinner nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just laid quietly, sobbing occasionally. After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up a bit, as if terror and the fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, if someone wanted to kill me, what is all this for? It doesn't look like an experiment either. If this is just some crazy coincidence, then there's probably no threat. Anyway, for now, it seems there's no danger. The panic was soon gone. Of course, the blood was still pounding in my temples, and my hands were still shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Right now, there's nothing I can really change anyway. So no matter how much I think or how mad I get, it would only make things worse. Until some actual facts appeared, there's really no point in making guesses. In any case, I won't learn anything by lounging about here. This camp, if of course it really is a camp, looked like the only place where people could be, so I decided to go there, and hardly had I reached the gates when a girl came out from behind them, wearing a pioneer outfit. My logic didn't let me down this time. Then again, a pioneer outfit in the 21st century? And then again, a girl here? I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Running as far away as I could from this place, far from this bus, gates, statues, and far from this bloody bird with its siesta. Just running free like the wind, faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar ray and turning into vestigial radiation, right? What the fuck is wrong with you? Run no matter where, as long as it's far away from this place. Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiled. I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling in fear. Human instincts work independently of conscious, and while only 5% of the brain is responsible for cognitive processes, the remaining 95% are always busy sustaining life, and in particular, ensuring stable functionality of the hormonal system. I don't know how to say to that. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and stop thinking in formal quotes from an encyclopedia, though my thoughts appeared one by one, being stupid, out of place, as if taken from an internal monologue of the hero of some junky softcover crime fiction book. Oh, this game. I don't know about you. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and stop thinking in formal quotes from... Oh! Balls. A pretty Slavic face, long braids that look like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes you could drown in. What? Hi, you must have just... Oh, I'm gonna try to change my voice for these characters. Hi, you must have just arrived. Yeah, let's be nice. Yeah. Alright then, welcome. She smiled broadly. Strange, it looked as if I had just a normal girl in front of me. Bah, I shouldn't have returned... What? Wait, is she talking or is he talking? Bah, I shouldn't have returned here. The woods and fields seem better. What should I do? Oh, okay, it is him talking. But what shall I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was human, or run away, or what? The blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more, and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with the gruesome contents of my skull. Please stop. What's so funny about that? The girl looked me over. It sent shivers down my spine, and my knees started to tremble. Nothing. Great, then. Great? What's so great about that? Something I thought crossed my mind. To hell with it. Forget about the bus behind me. The fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today, I wanted to rip off my itchy sweater and just accept that all this is actually happening. Everything is as it should be. All this is for the best. Would you happen to know? You should go to our camp leader. She'll tell you everything. Look, you go straight ahead to the square, then turn left. You'll see several small cabins. She pointed at the gates, as if I knew what was behind them. What? Well, you can ask someone where Olga... I don't even know how to count. Dimitrivna is a patron... Okay, Dimitrivna. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just going to go with Olga. Is... Got it? Of course I didn't. Well, I've got to go now. The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if to her I was something. Ordinary. And all this show with the bus and the travels while awake or asleep were troubling only to me. While everything here is just the way it is supposed to be. Camp leader, pioneer uniform. What are they doing? A historical reenactment here? I hope I won't find Lenin standing atop an armored car in this square. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed into the camp. A mere 50 meters ahead, a small one-story house popped up on the left side. The sign near the door said clubs. I was about to come closer when the door suddenly opened and a short girl wearing a pioneer outfit came out. Her face gave me the impression of one suffering from the fate of the whole mankind with a truly universal sorrow. As soon as she saw me, the girl froze as if frightened. What kind of face is that? I froze too, considering what was best to do. To approach first or to wait until she showed initiative. Or maybe run away after all. Although this last option was constantly being suggested only by my self-preservation instinct. At least that's what I'd like to believe. Not the worst human instinct, but by far the most logical. If this instinct played poker against deductive abilities, the outcome would be predetermined. And those deductive abilities, or at least their semblance, were hinting to me that there was no need to be afraid of this girl. Suddenly, somebody jumped out of the nearby bushes. A girl wearing a bright red t-shirt with USSR written on it. Such a perfect reproduction of the age. She looked quite short from a distance and was probably younger than both pioneer girls. The one at the gates and this girl at the door of the clubs. At last I decided to come closer, but the USSR, as I called her in my mind, jumped towards the first girl and started telling her something while wildly waving her arms. What are these faces? Like, I want an explanation. The other girl in turn seemed confused and lowered her gaze, remaining silent. I would have probably continued to observe their amusing dialogue, but the USSR suddenly pulled something out of her pocket and started waving it in front of the first girl's face. This something turned out to be a grasshopper. Okay, I get the kind of girl she is. I'm not attempting that! My voice is not that high! So, no, just... just pretend that I did that, because I'm not gonna wreck my voice for this. The first girl squeaked. She must not be too keen on insects, as she instantly rushed off towards the place where Lenning presumably made the speech about the workers' and peasants' revolution. That is to say, towards the square. USSR glanced at me, grinned playfully, and dashed after her. Not a bad start to the day. I have absolutely no clue where I am, besides that there are some kids here role-playing as pioneers. And as far as I can tell, this place is located thousands of kilometers away from home. It might even be a different reality. And this was indeed a reality. I mean, everything around me seems so real, if a little embellished, that I was starting to think that, in fact, my previous life could have been just a dream. And what am I supposed to do now? I was picking at the cracked pavestones with my shoe and staring aimlessly at the club's building. Just a few more seconds before I have to come up with some decision. That's when I recalled myself rolling on the grass, weeping. I cringed in disgust. Perhaps it's another instinct. When all my energy for whimpering and self-pity is used up, the body either goes into hibernation or immobilizes its reserves. Mine seemed to have chosen the second option, because out of the blue, I found a determination to figure out what was going on. And in order to do that, I had to act like a man, like a human, to maintain the dignity of a representative of my own world. I followed the path to the left, and on the right side of which stood small cabins, apparently the homes of the local pioneers. Apparently they looked quite cozy from the outside. Even though I was born in the Soviet Union, I had never been part of its children's organizations, neither the pioneers nor even the younger October children. I imagined the daily life of a typical pioneer camp a bit differently. Huge barracks with long rows of metal bunks, wake-up call at 6 o'clock played by a siren, 1 minute to make your bed, then join the formation at the drill square. Or wait, could I be confusing it with something else? Suddenly something struck me on my back. I staggered but remained on my feet, turned around and prepared to fight heroically for my life. Oh, but all I found was another girl standing before me. My mouth hung open in surprise. Pick your jaw off the ground. I closed my mouth. The same pioneer uniform, but the way she was wearing it looked, let's say, provocative. Like all the girls I had met here before, this one was rather cute, but her overly arrogant expression killed any desire to get to know her better. New here, are you? Fine. See ya. She threw a threatening glance at me and walked past. I waited for the pioneer girl to turn at the corner. Who knows what else she might be up to? The most interesting thing was that even this hostile girl seemed completely normal to me. She did not give off the feeling of some deadly danger. Except maybe the danger of getting punched in the nose. At last, I managed to make it to the square. There was no landing on an armored car, although one could easily expect something like that after all this had happened. Instead, however, a monument to a certain comrade towered in the middle of the square. The letters on the pedestal read, Genda. Must be some big figure in the party. There were some small branches at the sides. It's quite pleasant here. Where did that girl tell me to go? To the left or to the right? To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. And why am I going there anyway? Ah, right. I've decided to pretend to be normal. So, to the right. Though a small grove. I came out at the pier. I must have taken a wrong turn. Hey, wrong way! I turned towards the voice. Oh, this girl again. I kind of had a feeling. That first girl stood behind me. Now, what did I tell you? Take a left at the square, wasn't it? She had changed from her pioneer outfit into a bikini. Oh, I still haven't introduced myself. My name is Slavia, if I'm saying that name correctly. Actually, my full name is Slaviana, but everyone just calls me Slavia. So can you. Yeah. I still felt a bit confused, so I could not come up with more meaningful answers. And what's your name? It felt like she could see right through me. Yeah, Semyon. Nice to meet you, Semyon. Alright, I'm almost done here. Could you wait here a minute? I'm going to change and we'll go to Olga. I'm not saying the last day because I really don't know how to. Together. Agreed? Agreed. After this exchange, she ran off. I sat on the pier and let my feet hang into the water. I was wearing heavy winter boots, but in such weather, there was nothing wrong in getting my feet wet. Furthermore, it let me cool myself a little. Looking at the river, I was brainstorming and processing everything that has happened. If this is some kind of conspiracy, it's a weird one. Even friendly, too, at times. No, it really looks more like a random event. Some entirely incomprehensible random event. Shall we go? Slavia was standing beside me, dressed in a pioneer uniform again. Let's go. I've been here for a very short time, but of all the people I met, she looks the least suspicious. However, this fact is already suspicious itself. We walked to the square. The USSR girl and the girl who hit me on the back were there, chasing each other. Is that some kind of game they're playing? Ulyana, enough running. I'll tell everything to Olga. Aye, aye, Captain. Oh, it's got to be the little girl with the red lettering. I decided not to question Slavia for a while about what was going on or the local residents. Better meet with this mysterious Olga first. Sounds like she's the boss here. We walked past the rows of almost identical cabins, some of which look like fat beer barrels, while others look more like household sheds. Finally, Slavia stopped in front of a smallish one-story cabin. It looked like an artist's painting. The faded paint, chipped here and there with age, was sparkling in the sun. The window shutters, slightly ajar, were swaying almost unnoticeably in the wind, and huge lilac bushes were growing at the sides. It seems as if this ramshackle hut was down in a storm of purple silk, and the lilacs were, like some elemental force, were inexorably destroying the troop leader's house. Wow, there's a lot of big words here. Jesus, I'm terrible. What are you standing around for? Let's go. Slavia snapped me out of my daydreaming. What? And stop teasing Lena already? Who said that? The fuck? Reina? The fuck? Sounds like there's someone inside. Indeed, a moment later the door swung open and Ulyana ran out and dashed past with the same mischievous grin. The pigtail girl came out next. Don't let it bother you, Lena. Lena, I would say. I'll say Lena. So her name is Lena. Gotta be thankful it's not Reina, at least. But Instead of finishing her sentence, she blushed and quickly headed towards the square. For some reason, I felt like turning and following her with my eyes, but Slavia said, Come. We entered the cabin. Inside it looked something similar to what I'd imagined. 2 beds, a table, a couple of chairs, a simple carpet on the floor, a wardrobe. Nothing special, but at the same time, it felt homelike and cozy, although this room was almost in the same state of disorder as my own flat. The girl standing near the window appeared to be 25 years old. Nature had obviously gifted her with a pretty face and a good body. Yeah, obviously. At least one thing can keep you happy in this pandemonium. The locals are beautiful. You're finally here. Excellent. My name is Olga. I'm the camp leader. I'm not going to say the last name again, like I said. Nice to meet you. I'm Semyon. I decided to talk as if I wasn't surprised by anything that was going on. She came closer. We've been expecting you since early morning. You've been expecting me? Yes, of course. And when does the next bus come? And why do you need it? Yeah, right. Why would I need it? Guess I shouldn't ask direct questions. The people here may react to them unlike how I'd prefer. And I doubt I'd get any answers. No reason, just curious. By the way, where are we exactly? Our mailing address, I mean. I wanted to send a letter to my parents to tell them I got here fine. For some reason, I had the desperate idea that if I played along, I would find something out. Oh, but your parents just called. But your parents called just half an hour ago. Send their regards to you. Sent. Now that's a surprise. So, can I call them? Because I forgot to tell them something before I left. No. She gave me a sweet, spontaneous smile. Why not? We don't have a phone here. What? Then how could my parents make a call to here? I've just come back from the district central town. I talked with them there. Ah, so that's how it is. And can I get to the town? And can I somehow get to the town? No. She kept the same smile. Why not? Because the next bus only comes in a week. I decided not to inquire how the troop leader managed to get there and back. I would get no answer anyway. All this time, Slavia was standing next to me, seemed to find nothing odd in our conversation. Oh, we need to find a uniform for you. I've got absolutely no desire to put on pioneer shorts or to wear that ridiculous red neckerchief. However, wearing winter clothes in summer isn't a great idea either. Right, thank you. Also, what's with that picture on the wall? I don't even know what to make of that. I wonder if I'm the only one here who finds it strange that someone's wearing a coat and winter boots in such heat. Radio! I'll be off then, and you can get yourself acquainted with the camp. Don't forget to come to dinner in the evening. Having said that, she walked out of the cabin. No, walked is not the right word. She rushed out. I ended up alone with Slavia. I must go too. Got things to do. Take a walk. Look around the camp a bit. See you in the evening. If there is no threat or catch to this, then this reality, as embodied by Slavia, becomes more and more appealing. For the first time today, I realized that it was not awfully hot here, although obviously my winter clothes were to blame for that. I took off my coat and dropped it onto the bed. My pullover followed it. I was now wearing only the shirt. That's much better. All I could do now was follow their advice and go look around the camp. I'll try to find something out in the meantime. Passing the local residential district, I saw a pioneer guy come my way. And it was really a pioneer guy, not a pioneer girl. Apparently there were men even in this kingdom of Amazons. Oh, come on. Hello, you're new here. You must be Semyon, right? And how do you? Everyone knows already. I'm wait, how do you pronounce that? Electronic. By the way, the real one. You can call me that. Electronic was a robot character appearing in the poverty. Oh my god. Electronic, the real one. Things were going from crazy to completely insane. Alright. Uliana also calls me Cheesy. Cheesy? On toast with mushroom? Bad joke. Because of my last name is Chizikov. I see. Let me show you around. I accepted his offer, as it would have taken much longer to get to know this place alone. Fine, let's go. We ended up at the square again, as if this place was all there is to the camp. Lena was sitting on one of the benches reading some book. Electrona confidently approached her. Hello, Lena. Meet the new guy, Semyon. He stared briskly. Hello. Well, you could say we've met already, in a way. Yes. She looked away from that book for a moment, glanced at me, blushed, and went back to reading, as if not noticing that we were still here. Alright, let's go on. I was at first surprised that meeting this girl was reduced to a couple words, but then I thought it was better that way. Electronic's vigorous activity did not fit well with Lena's shyness. Let's go. Next we came to a building, which I instantly identified as a canteen. And this here... I know, this is where you consume organic food. Yeah, something like that. On the canteen's porch stood the unfriendly girl who hit me on the back earlier. At the sight of her, my joking mood vanished in a blink of an eye. Really, now is not the best time to be pulling this guy's leg, even though he is quite hilarious. First, I need to figure out what's what here, or at least where I am. Her over there is Alyssa... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Be careful around her. He spoke in a whisper. Okay. Don't even risk calling her Divcha. She doesn't like that. Diva means two in Russian, the whole nicknames. Oh, okay. What did you say? What did you call me? She must have heard him. In the blink of an eye, Alyssa jumped down from the porch and dashed towards us. Alright, you'll manage from here onwards. Electronic took to his heels. Why would I run after him? I didn't even do anything. I'm gonna do nothing. Alyssa, running past, stopped for a moment and growled. I'll deal with you later. Deal with me? What did I do wrong? I ended up forced guilt to smile to my words. But what am I guilty of? She made no reply and carried on chasing Electronic. Looks like I'll have to kill some time alone, waiting for dinner. I decided to go east. At least in the direction where east would be in my world. Soon after, I found myself near a football pitch. A game was in full swing there. I guess watching it for a bit wouldn't do any harm. In my childhood and teen years, I was not a bad player myself, I even thought of going professional, but a few injuries in a row killed my desire to risk my health for the sake of uncertain chance in the game. Kids at different ages were running around the pitch. I could see a boy of about 10 and a girl about 14 years old. A girl? Hey, that's Yulana. Alright, so she plays football. What's so surprising? She seems a restless one after all. I was standing quite afar from the pitch, but she still noticed me. Hey, you! Yolanda shouted. Wanna play? I didn't know how to answer. On one hand, running around for 10 minutes is no big deal. On the other hand, any wrong move in my situation could be my final one. But anyways, my attire wasn't suitable for this weather. If I played in winter boots and a warm jacket, I would sweat like a pig. And playing barefoot and without jeans would simply be unethical. Maybe another time, alright? I shouted in response. Oh, okay, shouted. Turned around and walked back. I was followed by Yulna's screams about my pants or about me being a pansy or something like that. Evening was falling, making me feel tired and empty after a day wasted with no real purpose. I came back to the square, sat down on a bench, and gave an exhausted sigh. I'd better sit here and wait for dinner. After all, it's easier to search for answers when you're not hungry. They do give food to the people here, right? You know, it's curious how the simplest human needs can break the will to ponder on things, to strive for something. For example, I feel hungry now, so I care much less about where I am or what's happening to me. Could great people also be affected by this? And in that case, how did Spartacus start the slave uprising in ancient times? I can only conclude that I am not a great person, and it does not really matter which mechanism I serve as a gear in. Society, the Matrix, or a weird pioneer camp. Oh my god, he made that reference. My thoughts were interrupted by the sounds of bells chiming from a loudspeaker on a light pole. It must be the dinner call. I headed towards the canteen. It was a good thing that now I knew where it was. Olga was there, standing on the porch. I stopped and looked closely at her, as if I was expecting something. She looked back at me a while, but at last came closer. Semyon, what are you waiting for? Come in already. Guess nothing bad can happen if I go with her. My stomach backed me up here. The two of us went inside. The canteen looked like a canteen. I had a chance to visit a factory canteen at some point in my life. This one was exactly the same, just maybe a bit cleaner and more modern. Metal chairs and tables, glass tiles on the walls and on the floor, unsophisticated tableware with the occasional crack. Guess that's what a canteen in a pioneer camp's supposed to look like. Semyon, wait a moment. We'll find you a place to sit. She looked around the place. Oh, wait. Oh, it's this girl. Hold it right there. Olga shouted at Alyssa, who was passing by. What? What? What's up with your clothes? Anything wrong with them? Indeed, her entire look somewhat provocative. Get your uniform nice and neat now. All right. Alyssa got her shirt right and walked past, shooting an unpleasant glare at me. So, where can we find you a place to sit? There weren't a lot of free seats. Go over there, next to Yolana. Maybe I... Yeah, it's fine. The food's already on the table, too. I had no other choice but to accept. Of course, there was the probability that the cutlets were poisoned with cura, the mashed potatoes generously seasoned with arsenic, and the glass filled with excellent antifreeze instead of compote. But it all looked so tasty that I had no chance to resist. Hey! What do you want? I replied rather rudely to Yolana, who was sitting next to me. Why didn't you play football with us? Because of my clothes. Said I, pointing at the source of the problem. Oh, alright then. Eat. However, there wasn't much left to eat. My cutlet was missing from the plate. Only she could have done it. No, more precisely, none but Yolana could have done it. Give me back my cutlet. In a big family, you snooze, you lose. It can cost you a cutlet if you are careless. Give it back, I'm telling you. I can't. I'm not a rude motherfucker. See? I don't have it. And indeed, Yolana's plate was empty. It seemed that this girl eats as fast as she steals someone's cutlets. Take it easy. We'll work something out now. She grabbed my plate and ran off. There was no point in following her. If they wanted to poison me here, they could have done it in a much easier way. But a minute later, Yolanda returned and handed me a plate with a steaming hot cutlet on it. See? This is why you have to be nice to people and not be a fucking jerk. Here's one for the starving. Thanks. It was all I could say. I was so hungry that my suspicions were gone in a flash. I picked up the cutlet with my fork and... What the... Some bug! No, not a bug! An insect! It got legs and it's wiggling! The plate fell to the floor and broke into pieces. The chair hit me hard on my leg while falling. I've disliked insects since I was a child, but when those creepy crawlers appear in my plate, that's just way too much. You little... Yolanda seemed ready for such a twist and was already out the door. Sorry about that, I had to check something. Anyways, Yolanda seemed ready for such a twist and was already at the door, laughing as if she had just heard a fresh stand-up comedy joke. I dashed after her. Of course she did. We ran out of the canteen. We were just a few dozen meters apart, and I felt I would catch this little girl easily. We ran through the square, past the club's house, and ran onto the forest path. I started to gasp for breath. I should have quit smoking, I guess. Yolanda passed out of the sight on the next turn. It can't be true that she managed to get away from me. It simply can't. I stopped to try to catch my breath again. Fucking hell, that girl. Night was falling. Looks like I'm lost. It's a bad idea to stay in the woods at night. Better get back to camp. However, I have absolutely no clue which way to go. Well, I gotta choose at random. I wandered for quite some time in the forest and even thought of crying for help, but I finally saw the camp's fence beyond the trees. Everything fell back into place. The bus is gone. I mumbled quietly. On one hand, there was nothing strange about that. The bus couldn't just stay there forever. On the other hand, it meant there was someone driving, because buses do not drive themselves. Or do they? This world seemed too normal, but every event here had at least two explanations for it. An ordinary, real, everyday explanation, and a surreal one. Certainly the driver could have just been off for a snack and I left too soon, and that's why. In any case, this is not the place for me. Whether that bus drives itself or not was probably an important question, but it was much more important to know how I got here at all. And where this here was. The fields and the woods stretched towards the horizon, had no answers, there was nothing familiar about them. A strange, odd, and alien world. However, at the same time, it was absolutely not frightening. Either my self-preservation instinct decided to resign from its job, or all this running around the camp and the local pioneers had lulled me so much with their carefree normality that I was simply forgetting what had happened to me just a couple of hours ago. Although I probably just had no strength left to worry. All I wanted was some peace, calmness. I wanted to just have a break from it all, and only after that I would continue looking for answers, ready and reloaded. However, that would be some time later. And what about now? Can I allow myself to relax? It got completely dark, and in any case, it was better to spend the night in the camp. I was about to head back when somebody came up silently from behind. Hello, what are you doing here so late? It was Slavia, standing before me. I was so surprised that I jumped. So you didn't catch Yolana, did you? She smiled. I nodded disappointedly inside. No wonder. No one ever has. Yeah, she's a real rocket girl. She could have found a better use for her energy than looking for adventures. You must be hungry. You didn't manage to have dinner after all. Indeed, I had completely forgotten about my hunger, but after those words of hers, my stomach drew attention to itself by giving a traitorous rumble. Slavia smiled. Let's go then. What, is the canteen still open? It's alright, I have the keys. The keys? Yes, I have the keys to all the facilities in this camp. How come? Well, I'm something like the camp's leader's aide here. I see. Well, let's go. It was an offer you can't refuse. When we reached the square, Slavia stopped in her tracks. Excuse me, I should warn my roommate that I'll be late. She's so punctual herself that she'll be worried otherwise. You go on to the canteen. I'll come in a minute, alright? Alright. I really did not expect to find somebody aside from myself there at such a late hour. And that somebody was apparently trying hopelessly to open the door. Without any secret thoughts, I walked up to the porch. The lockpicker turned out to be Alyssa. I should have probably kept off and waited. She looked at me intently for a while and then said, "Don't just stand there, give me a hand or something." Meaning, help me open the door. Why? 'Cause I want some buns and kefir. Dinner wasn't big enough. Is that really a good idea? Aren't you hungry yourself, huh? Yolanda didn't let you have a normal dinner, did she? She smiled sarcastically. It's true, she didn't. It's fine. Slavia will come now and... What? Guess I shouldn't have said that. I'm off then. And you'll pay for this. You owe me 2 already. Having said that, Alyssa disappeared into the night. And what was the first one? Slavia didn't keep me waiting for too long. Is everything alright? Yeah, why are you asking? No reason. It's nothing. It would be better if I didn't tell her about Alyssa. Everything's fine. I said that and immediately heard a note of dishonesty in my voice. Well, shall we go? As for Slavia, she seemed not to have noticed anything. Or at least she was pretending she hadn't. We entered the canteen. Wait a bit, I'll go get something. I sat down on a chair and obediently waited for my savior. My dinner was simple. A few buns and a glass of kefir. No wonder. I bet hungry pioneers finished everything off. However, even that was far better than most of my usual diet. Slavia sat across the table and looked at me while I was eating. Is there something on my face? No, just... She smiled. So, how did you like your first day in the camp? Well, I don't really know. It's silly to ask someone who suddenly found himself in a different reality whether he liked the food in the canteen, the camp leader, or his assigned hut. It's alright, you'll soon get used to it. Slavia stared out the window dreamily. Frankly speaking, I have no desire to get used to such things, but as for her, she doesn't know. Or at least she wants me to think that she doesn't. Well, all in all, it's nice here. I had to somehow break the awkward silence. Do you think so? She asked without any interest. Yeah, this place is so... I wanted to say retro, but I managed to hold that back. After all, it was retro for me, but what about them? It might be the only kind of life they knew, if the term life was applicable here at all. So how? She watched me closely, as if something important depended on the answer. Well, I don't know. Lovely. Yeah, it's lovely here. I guess you're right. She smiled again. It's very good that you think so. Why? Well, not everybody likes it here. And what about you? Me? Yes. I love it here. It's great. Then you don't need to worry about what other people think. Well, I don't worry. Slavia laughed. This conversation seemed to be leading me far astray from what I wanted to get to. And you're worried yourself. Really? Why do you say so? Well, when someone is chewing so intensely... I'm sorry. It's okay. I couldn't bring myself to be more cautious around this girl. But why her in particular? Why not any other local inhabitant? Every one of them looked completely normal to me. Precisely normal. So normal it sends it chilled down my spine and into my marrow. Normal, not like a neighbor with a power drill in one hand and a subwoofer in the other. Not like a passenger you can often meet in a subway or on a public transport. Not like a coworker at the next table in an open plan office. And not even like a friend who who only differs from other humans in his constant instances. All of them looked normal, as I would expect them to be, with their own downsides but without any superpowers. And Slavia was also cute? I glanced at her stealthily, not knowing what to say. I'm sorry, I wanted to show you the camp but ran off my feet. I didn't miss anything while on my own, I guess. Oh, he was saying that, my fault. Whoops! Are you sure you haven't missed anything at all? She smiled so brightly that I had to drop my eyes in confusion. Well, How would I know? It's my first day here. Okay, what have you seen so far? I've seen the square, this canteen, the football field. And what about the beach? Just from afar. You really should go there. Or let's do it together. Yeah, okay, we will. Her naturalness started to scare me. But then I thought, what if everything that happens here is how it's supposed to be, and this world looked strange only to me, while for them it is normal? Maybe I was thrown into the past. Yes, that would explain a lot. Can I ask you a stupid question? No. Oh, she said no. Slavia smiled and stood up from that table. It's late. Can you find your way to Olga's by yourself? Of course I can, but why would I go there? She'll settle you with someone. What for? Probably this question seems stupid because Slavia burst into a good-natured laugh. You need to sleep somewhere, right? That makes sense. Fine, I'll be off then. Good night. Night. It's strange that she left in such a hurry. A bundle of keys left in the door lock caught my attention. I was going to catch up with Slavia, but where does she live? And knocking on every door during the middle of the night doesn't sound like a bright idea. I don't want to leave them because someone might, She might remember that she forgot them and come back. But then again, I kind of want to take them just so I can be sure I get them. Like, that's the problem. I don't get what this game is trying to tell me. Like, what, are they trying to imply the idea, oh, if I take them, I'm going to be a thief and shit? I don't know. I don't want to leave them because then someone else might find them. Principally speaking, I would probably take them since I know she's around. I'd better take them. I'll give them back tomorrow because who knows what happens here at night. Exactly. So that starts to give me chills. It's me who needs to be careful here in the first place. Oh my god, what the fuck is happening? Looks like my recording's starting to muck up a bit. Yep. Oh wow, yeah, it's mucking up pretty badly. Give me a second, guys. Give me a quick second. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Apparently, Fraps freaking took up all my memory, so I had to switch to my external drive, but this won't be lasting too much longer, no worries. Though the night wasn't silent at all, one could hear chirping crickets, the songs of the night birds, and rustling trees from everywhere. A sudden desire to follow Slavia's advice and to go to the camp leader's cabin appeared. I don't know why, but the sight of the unknown bronze builder of communism put me in a constructive mood. I sat on the bench and started to recall everything that happened today. That was all my constructive mood could offer. Here was much bigger than near the canteen, and tardy pioneers were running by, so this place didn't seem scary at all. Bus, summer camp, girls. I was so tired from everything new and strange that I could not come up with a single explanation for what was going on. I heard a barely noticeable rustle nearby. I shivered and looked in that direction. A girl, reading a book. Lena. I decided to move closer and talk. She was the only person... Oh, whoops, my fraps was up still. She was the only person I had met here without exchanging even a few words. Hi, what are you reading? Lena was so surprised that she jumped. And there goes that face again. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. Never mind. She blushed and stared at the book again. So, what are you reading? On the cover was written, Gone with the Wild. I actually have that book! I believe I have that book. I forgot it books away, shit. But I know I've read it. Yeah, honestly, I've read that book. A good book. Thanks. Honestly speaking, I haven't read it, but I think that such literature suits her very well. I've read that book, so I can say it's good. Lena didn't seem to be interested in continuing the conversation. Well, if I'm bothering you... No. She answered while still looking at the book. Can I sit beside you for a while? Why? And really, why? Maybe just because I was very tired and having company is better than being alone? And maybe I wanted to try to find something out of her, from her? I carefully examined Lena, but no, I doubt that. Well, I don't know. I'm not allowed to? Feel free. But if I'm bothering you... No, you're not. I can leave, just say, everything's alright. Okay, then. I sat on the end of the bench carefully. After such an intense talk, staying here was the last thing I wanted, but it wouldn't be nice to just stand up and leave. That didn't really go well, huh? Lena hasn't answered anything. It seems I made a fool out of myself. I bet if Uliana was here, she'd have a good laugh at me. Do you enjoy being here? I recalled Slavia's question and thought it was a good start for a conversation. Yes. She smiled slightly. I guess I like it too. Lena definitely isn't very sociable and probably can't carry on a meaningless conversation as easily as Slavia. But there was something about her that attracted attention. Like a momentary glimpse of a reflection in the glass on a rainy autumn evening, which makes you turn around and stare into darkness, searching for something that you saw out of the corner of your eye. Of course, you weren't able to distinguish or understand what it was, but it still felt so tempting. Lana was still reading the book without paying any attention to my presence, and I had no intention of asking her anything about this camp or this world in general. Beautiful night. Yes. How in the world would you start a conversation with her? It's late. I have to go. Yes, it's quite late. Good night. Night. There was something strange about this girl. At first glance, she's a typical shy and modest pioneer girl, but the mystery of Lena took its own place in the massive list of mysteries about this camp, which I had started to put together in my head. A lazy evening. There's nothing like a good time with nothing to do. I headed towards Olga's cabin. The light in the house was on. Hello, Semyon. You're quite late. Yeah, I went for a walk to look around the camp. Alright. You'll be sleeping here. She pointed her finger at one of the beds. Right here? I was a bit surprised. Yeah, is something wrong? We're out of free cabins anyways. The camp leader smiled, but I rather think it was just out of politeness. You do want to be a decent pioneer, don't you? There was a clear emphasis on the word decent. Yep, sure. I was lost in thought for a moment. Don't you mind it, I don't even know how to pronounce that. She looked at me oddly. What surprise and some offense in her eyes. A pioneer should respect their elders, Olga said strictly. Of course he should. No one argues with that. I blathered, not realizing what was wrong. Shouldn't you also? She stared at me. Under such a gaze, even mithril forged by the best dwarf masters from the deepest dungeons would melt. Should I what? What's up, Tits? Why are you saying this shit? Annoyance and a lack of understanding made me raise my voice. You must address your adults appropriately. Yes, of course, there are a lot of strange things here, but this girl is just a couple of years older than me. Or maybe even younger. But I decided not to argue. While just a few minutes ago I would never have called her an adult, I have to admit that she was also given a strong character. And in any case, I wasn't in a position to argue. As you say, ma'am, I mumbled. That's much better. That is how a decent pioneer should conduct himself. And now it's time to sleep. Honestly speaking, I was going to become neither a decent nor an indecent pioneer. Just yesterday I was going to become a pioneer. I wasn't going to become a pioneer at all. But do I have a choice now? If you don't want to, we'll have to make you. This is the model Olga was probably going to use. I climbed onto the bed and closed my eyes, only to realize how tired I was after today. Something hammered in my head awfully, as if my brains had started a night shift. And they seemed to be aimed more at rolling steel than working on something more sensitive. The bus through my mind. And then the square with the monument. The canteen full of pioneers, and the malicious face of Uliana. Slavia. Lena. And even recalling Alyssa didn't give me too much of a negative feeling. What if I'm here for good? Okay, I'm gonna end it there because like I said, this was supposed to be a one-off Let's Play, and I've been playing this for almost 2 hours. I've almost been playing this for 2 hours. So, is this how you save the game? Okay, yes it is. Now, I don't know if I'm going to continue this. I've already said it to Zachary, and I've said it to a few other people that if people want me to continue this, then maybe I will. Okay, so that's how you get to the main menu. So I'm going to go back to the main menu. I've already saved my game. So that is Everlasting Summer. Like I said, this is going to be a one-off Let's Play, but if people want me to continue playing it, I will. My thoughts on it? I'm not much of a visual novel person, just to be fair. I like stories. Like, I like stories in games, I won't deny that, but I'm not much of a visual novel person, so... This game's not really my kind of style, but... I do at least admit that I am thinking about a few things. So, am I interested to play more? Maybe. It depends on if other people want to see more. But otherwise, I think I'm going to leave it off here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one-off Let's Play. Thank you to my patron, Zachary Taylor, for requesting this game from me. If you want to see, you know... Yeah, I really don't have anything else to say on that. I was about to do, like, the general YouTuber thing, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I'm going to leave it off here. So... Until next time, guys, I'm Keen47, aka Wolfkeen. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, guys, take care. This is a weird game, I'll say that.